To solve multi-step inequalities, we're going to do it the exact same way as if it were an equation. The only thing that you have to remember is the new rule that we just learned, which is that if at any point you multiply or divide by a negative, you just have to reverse the inequality sign. So in this example here, where our goal is to isolate x, we're still going to use reverse PEMDAS. So we would add 7 to both sides. Everything else comes straight down, so you have 3x is less than 15. I'll just write that over here. And then we divide by 3. And x is less than 5. That's our solution. You should also be prepared to be able to graph those, although to save time, I'm not going to make you do it on these notes. So you're going to solve these 5 examples here. Pause the video to do that. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. So on the first example, you just add 5 divided by 2, x is less than or equal to 14. On the second example, you minus 5 divided by 6, y is greater than or equal to 1. On the next example, you actually distribute first, so you multiply the left side by negative 0.6, and you end up with negative 0.6 plus 3. Keep in mind, we didn't multiply or divide both sides by a negative. I just distributed, so there's no need to reverse anything. Then you solve like normal. Minus 3 divided by negative 0.6. At this point, we are dividing by a negative, so you reverse the inequality sign to greater than. So x is greater than or equal to 20. On this example, you distribute the negative 1/4. Again, you're only doing it on one side. You're not doing it on both sides, so you don't have to reverse anything. Minus 3 to get your negative 5, and then to undo a negative 1/4 p, you can multiply by the reciprocal, which would be negative 4. And at this point, I am multiplying by a negative, so I reverse the inequality sign. Down here, when we have variables on both sides, you just need to slingshot one of those variables to the other side, so I could move the 2x over by minusing it. 4x minus 7 is greater than 17. Add 7. To get 4x is greater than 24, and then x is greater than 6. So the first thing we're going to do here is recall a concept from Chapter 3. So I'm actually going to have you pause the video and do these on your own right now. These come straight out of Chapter 3, Section 4. So if you solve both of these like you learned back to in Chapter 3, here you end up with 12 equals 10, but again, you're trying to tell me what the variable can be, and in that case, it means no solution. And over here you end up with 18 equals 18, and that means all real numbers. Keep in mind, if you look here and here, some people stop there because they recognize that's a false statement and that's a true statement. It's a really good habit to not stop until either your variable is completely isolated or it's disappeared. It can just save you some confusion, especially now that we're in Chapter 6. So back in Chapter 3, what we learned is that if you got a false statement, your answer is going to be no solution, and if you get a true statement, your answer is going to be all real numbers. The same principle applies here. So if we end up with a true statement, we're still going to say all real numbers. That's going to be our answer. That's the thing that you would circle. Now, a true statement looks different when it's an inequality versus when it's an equation. To be a true statement when it's an equation, you have to have two numbers that are equal. An example of a true statement using an inequality could be like 5 is greater than 3, because 5 is greater than 3. The same thing's going to apply with a false statement. So if we get a false statement, we're going to say no solution. That's what you would circle. That's what your answer is. And again, a false statement using inequalities might look a little different. So 4 is less than 1. That would be a false statement because it's not false. Because 4 is not less than 1. So if we solve this one here, we get 14x plus 5 is less than 14x minus 21 by distributing. We'd minus 14x from both sides. And you end up with 5 is less than negative 21. 5 is not less than negative 21. It's actually greater, so that's a false statement. So our answer is going to be no solution. Try the next 5 examples. Pause the video, press play when you're ready to come back. So on the first example, you would distribute and then minus 12x from both sides. Negative 1 is greater than negative 6, so your answer is all real numbers. In the next example, I really just threw this in as a reminder that you can also just get kind of a natural looking solution. So in this case, we get x is less than or equal to 4. You wouldn't say no solution, because no solution means x can't be anything, but in this case, x can be 4 or any number less than it. And you wouldn't say all real numbers, because all real numbers implies that x can be every single number that exists. But for example, here, x couldn't be, say, 5. Here you end up with 25 is less than 17, which it is not, so we say no solution. Here we end up with 1 is less than or equal to 4, which it is, and it doesn't have to be both. So for example, 1 is not equal to 4, but it is less than, and it's an either or statement. It's either 1 is less than 4 or 1 is equal to 4 and it's less than. So we say all real numbers. And here, when you solve, you just get x is greater than 1. And then on these word problems, we're actually just going to start with the variable. Again, you want your variable to be on the left. It just makes your writing the inequality a little bit easier. So it tells us they charge 10 cents less per gallon if they purchase a car wash. And so we're going to assume that the customer has a car wash. I know it doesn't say that in there, but we'll assume it. So we know that they're going to pay $8 for the car wash, and then that price is going to be increased by whatever they pay for the gas. And it's supposed to be $2.09, but with the car wash it's 10 cents less, so it's $1.99 per gallon. The thing that we don't know, that I should have identified first, is that X is the number of gallons, and we want to spend at most, so less than or equal to $20. So at this point, now that this is set up, you can go ahead and solve that example, and then you can move on to this example as well. Pause the video, press play when you're ready. So in this example, after solving, we end up with X is less than or equal to 6.03 gallons. And I just rounded it to the nearest hundredth. It's important to know that you can buy gallons in decimals. You don't have to buy whole gallons. It's not like gallons of milk. So the fact that this is a decimal is okay, because it is possible to buy 3/100ths of a gallon. If it was like books or people, that wouldn't make sense. On this example, so we have $500. We're saving another 14 for another 14 weeks. The thing that we don't know is how much we're saving per week, so that's X. And we need at least $1,800 for the camp. So that amount that we save in total, it could be $1,800 or it could be more. This is a situation where if you save exactly $1,800, you'd be fine, but if you saved $2,000, you'd be fine as well. So then if you solve this by minusing 500, dividing by 14, you need to save at least $92.86 per week. So it would be okay to save $93, but it wouldn't be okay to save $92.